Don't get caught with your pants down. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
That's
It's
eh.
good advice, I think.
It-
Um,
not with a shit monster.
yeah, if you feel like if I was a shit monster, I would be more interested in the ones that have their pants on still, because then I'm like, I will mess them up.
Well, he like waits for you to be vulnerable and then he attacks you from your shower. I don't know why having pants on or not matters at all, but like why
I
is that
feel
his
like
catchphrase? I don't
I feel like if your pants
I-
are down, like you're showing your ass, and if you're a poop man, you just escaped from an ass prison, you're not gonna want to go back. So
but I
you'd
was
run from the sight of a bare ass, right?
I was kind of like under the impression though, be that as it may, that he like kind of has a thing for butts.
Whom amongst
Uh,
us?
yeah, I got a lot of questions about this guy's motive.
I'm
It's just butts. That's the whole thing.
This is episode 189 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
I'm poop.
I'm the shit man.
Katie's back. She's been
I'm
resurrected as the
back.
shit man.
Yep, I went through a transformation and I am
Freshly pooped.
I wish I could say better than ever, but you know how it is.
The world.
Not in this economy.
This week, for Katie's return, we picked the 2003 classic Monsturd. Finally, after like half a year talking about, we
Finally turned it.
unfortunately watched this. Gotta say,
I
not great.
also
It's
just
the best episode of South
discovered
Park.
that's true. That is true. I will say that. I just discovered also, listeners, I don't remember talking about this before, but Kit has already seen it. So why are
I
we
have too.
here? What? Oh my god.
I
That's
didn't remember
rude.
any of it, but
Oh gee. I
it
mean,
was along the same things, except I think it was at like a family video or something that I'd rented it, but I didn't remember anything watching this.
yeah.
Man, I have already forgotten it all watching it Monday
Same.
night.
I remember like three things from the whole movie, and it's the way the
The
shit
South Park
monster
thing.
looks, the South
That's
Park, and then the guy using a dog crate to crate around flies for some reason.
That by far was the best part. Like I actually was like, okay. Well, I think the problem with this movie, it's like an hour and 20 minutes, but like
Yes.
they definitely
Should have
don't
been an hour and
have
50 minutes.
it should have been
2.5
half
hours.
an hour.
This
It should have been
should have been Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh my god. It's like they definitely didn't have enough like content for the movie because there's a lot of like in between scenes of people doing stuff that doesn't matter at all. So my notes are like 2 pages and that's it because it was just like cops talk for no reason. Like there's just so much stuff that doesn't have anything to do with like the turd except
This is the thing. This is the thing about this movie is like it's not constructed badly as far as like this kind of level of movie goes. Like I feel like any of the Polonia Brothers movies we've watched is worse than this. Like there like some of the scenes where it's just like, you know, like the cops talking and like cracking jokes with each other are fine. But like at least a third, if not close to half of this movie is shot inside of like what's supposed to be sewer tunnels and shit, but they don't light anything, so it's all pitch fucking black and you can't tell what's happening.
Yeah.
And there's a South Park rip-off cartoon in it that's pretty on par with what I remember South Park being like.
And I have to assume that no one else knows it exists, but it's like I'm like, how is that not copyright material? It looks.
It's all you gotta do is just like satire or whatever. You can get away with it.
Yeah, I guess. I want to. Well,
I wish
it was pretty funny though.
I wish the DVD had like an entire episode.
Just a whole season.
Just replace the movie with their South Park. It's just every episode from the first season, but done in their style.
I like it. They should have had them do the South Park COVID special, honestly.
Yeah, no thank you. I checked out a South Park like 15 years ago or some shit.
Yeah. I don't know. This is I'm not going to get into South Park, but yeah. Well,
just wait, kid. We're watching good shit next week. Gonna get some
Hopefully
Matthew
nothing
Broderick.
South Park related.
no.
Some Puff Daddy with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. I was like, wait, why is Matthew Broderick? Have I talked about how he's like my nemesis?
You have a bunch of nemesis for this podcast. Matthew Broderick, fucking the one dude whose name is John Mayer.
Are you
Oh,
the one
no,
that
no,
hit
no.
in the car
John
in
Mayer
1980
isn't-
whatever?
John Mayer is not my nemesis. He is a woman killer. So I just am fearful of him. Because
John Mayer
he
killed
is
a lady?
murderer. He has killed many ladies. I don't know how I haven't had told you about. No, but Matthew Broderick is just
Matthew
like
Broderick did kill a person.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. He was my nemesis before I knew that though, so it just kind of like really affirmed my decisions in life. He's like my like if I saw him, I would put a curse upon his house. Like well, you know what?
I don't know. I'd
save
be
this-
too charmed, and then he'd hit me with a car.
He has dead eyes. He has soulless, beady little eyes.
Because he killed somebody.
Got that 1,000-yard stare.
Mm-hmm.
There
He was practically in Vietnam.
I think it was an episode of How Did This Get Made where they were talking about whatever fucking Christmas movie he made and like the
Deck the Halls.
yeah,
Like the hall.
and somebody, it's like the guest was either somebody that was in the movie or like is like best friends with someone who was in the movie, and they talked about how the entire time, anytime they weren't filming, like he would just have this vacant, dead stare.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean that's probably what happens when you kill somebody.
If I killed someone, I would not ever be the same.
Well,
I'd be so
sort of
stoked to make
feel.
a Godzilla movie, and then it's just like, no, I'm
I
dead
sort
in
of feel
between
like
takes.
you guys are defending my arch nemesis Matthew Broderick a little bit, and I
No,
will
not
not
at
stand
all.
for
I'm
that.
just saying there's an excuse as to why he has dead eyes. I'm not saying he's a good person.
Well, we'll talk about this more later.
He ruined Cameron's life and Ferris Bueller, so that was fucked up. And I didn't appreciate that at all.
That was fucked up. Yeah.
I'm like trying to think if there's any movies that like I like him in.
Ferris Bueller.
I'm gonna say
Ferris Bueller's fine, but I think he's the worst part of that movie.
I'm
gonna
gonna say the
say-
pedophile Jeffrey Jones.
Oh yeah, I forgot
He's
was
good in the movie, but he is a pedophile, which I think is worse than killing someone with a car.
He's
Okay.
barely above Matthew Broderick in that. Matthew Broderick's
Well-
fine, I guess, in The Cable Guy, but I think that's only because he's playing the straight man.
He's a straight man, yeah.
Well, you also have like Jim Carrey just like doing the most, so I feel like it's hard to like. It's fine. I will say a movie that I'm not gonna go as far as to say I liked him in, but I didn't mind him in was the Stepford Wives remake with Nicole Kidman because he just plays like
movie.
Same.
yeah. Okay,
Weird
I saw
cool Katie.
okay, but whatever. He's in there as Nicole Kidman's like husband, but he plays just like like a ordinary white husband guy, and I mean it fits because he just when all there's like a anyway.
He is in the B
I like
movie.
that movie.
I was gonna say
no.
he's in the B movie.
He's in the Strangers
What?
with Candy movie. That movie's good. I just don't remember him being in it.
I don't either.
I'm assuming he's got like a half a second cameo or some shit. Anyway, this is not the Godzilla episode.
Yeah,
This
let's.
is
Or the Matthew Broderick episode.
this is the other Matthew
What?
Broderick movie we're covering this month, Monsturd.
The shit man, aka the shit man. Yeah, I don't know. Let's shelve that because I have a lot more to say about him.
Next week could be a very angry episode for Katie.
I'm already mad. It's not the episode yet. This.
This is what you
She's
get
not
from.
going to have anything to vent about next week because
Like,
she's going to have aired it all right now.
We could have done Godzilla 2000, but that's not the one you told us was on Netflix. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I said I had COVID again. If somebody said, like, what year did this come out? And if you're wrong, I'm gonna kill you. I could have sworn that was Godzilla 2000. I don't know what.
it's 98, so you're close.
It is, but I thought, whatever. I don't know. I have no excuse.
Can we watch Godzilla 2000 also? Because it rules.
I need you guys to know
it?
that Monsturd has a higher rating than Godzilla 98 on Letterboxd.
No, come on.
2.4 versus 2.1.
That's pretty rough.
I mean, like, to be fair, it's only 366 ratings on fucking Monsturd as opposed to 120,000 on Godzilla, but
I can't believe that many people have watched Monsturd, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
went
how
out of
many?
their way
300?
to rate it.
yeah, it's 366. I mean, it's on Tubi now, so
One person every day for a whole year rated that movie.
Everything's coming up Monsturd in
This is the Monsturd's year, 2022.
I mean, honestly,
COVID is over. It's Monsturd time.
yeah. It's the year of shit monster movies. This fucking Dogma.
You know what? Sorry.
It's gonna killed Katie.
Yeah.
You got her COVID acting back up.
It resurged after a year.
It's resurfaced.
Oh shit! I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Oh no, I don't know. All right.
Something about Matthew Broderick, I bet.
I looked up just the lists. Somebody made a list of movies with shit monsters, and it's this, Dogma, Spookies, Weird Science, and Spirited Away.
I've only seen 4 out of the 5.
I've seen all of these, so that checks out.
I don't
remember Weird Science having a shit monster, but it's been a long time since I've seen that.
It was his brother.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I could picture that
Bill
now.
Paxton
Yeah.
gets turned into the poop monster.
It's wild.
I don't think he's like actually shit. He just looked like shit.
Like somebody actually took the time to make that list of like 5 movies.
That rocks. But I appreciate that.
I like the Letterboxd. You could literally look up just about anything, and someone's made a list.
Like
it'll be like
a
2
very
movies.
specific thing. The best.
Yeah. All right, Katie. Tell us what you loved about Monsturd.
The list is short.
I hear it's about 2 pages.
It is. I'm really confused by this movie. I've seen enough of this. You people have made me watch enough of this sort of movie that like I knew
people, meaning me and Kit.
Yeah. And anyone who listens and supports us, which I appreciate, but also it's your fault too. I've like seen enough of this kind of movie at this point to like sort of know what I'm getting into. And unfortunately for this one, I felt like it was kind of boring. Like, I don't know.
There's not a whole lot of shit monster going on in this.
No. And also like it wasn't like the jokes just didn't work for me either. Like, I mean, the poop jokes, like I get it.
Not the fact
that it was in Butte.
The whole
Butte, Indiana.
In Butte, Indiana, or whatever.
Yeah, I get it. I just didn't really...
Come on, Katie.
So this is where this movie went wrong is that it should have just been straight up shot for shot remake of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Except Michael Rooker is the shit monster.
Y'all hear
You know
me
what?
out.
Okay.
The turds. It's like the birds,
Yeah,
but it's little pieces of shit.
That sounds like something that would happen on South Park. Do you...
Yeah.
Okay, so the guy that plays Sheriff Duncan in this movie, at least on Letterboxd, has no other roles. Do you think he's got a fake name with his name being Paul Wiener? Or do you think that's real?
I think it's unfortunately real.
I think it's real.
That rules. There's only one person in this entire cast on Letterboxd that has any movie that's not this or the other movie the fucking directors made.
What was their other movie?
Retarded.
Oh.
Yeah. Not.
Not
Great.
That happened okay, so my sister-in-law the other day said a quote from Mean Girls, and I was like, I've only seen that movie one time, I don't know what that quote is. And so then we watched it again today, and they dropped the word easily 10 times, and I was like, I don't remember this being a part of this movie at all, but it's a lot.
What, 2001 or some shit?
Yeah, and it's about high school girls, so...
I'm not really thrilled that Jello Biafra was in that movie.
And
The Retarded.
I thought you meant Mean Girls.
I wish.
I was like,
what?
racking
Who
my
was
brain.
he in Mean Girls?
To be fair, I also didn't remember that Queen Tina Fey was in it, so.
Somehow...
I don't know how you forgot that.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. Nathan, cut out whatever I was just going to say. I thought I was looking up at the director's thing, and I was like, I came up with this movie.
It's Tina Fey.
No, there's an actor in this named Dave Ellis that's the only person that has any other credits, and for whatever reason I thought I was looking at the directors, because there's a movie that person's in that has a bunch of legit directors, an anthology of some sort, and I was like, how the fuck did these people get hooked up with Ruggero Deodato and Uwe Boll and shit? Not that Uwe Boll's a good director, but
he's at least known.
Yeah.
He's done things with a budget.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
All right. Let's
burn through this.
Let's do
Let's do like Kit and I did with Bigfoot versus Megalodon and talk about Ebola syndrome instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I'm sad I missed that one, to be
quick,
fair.
I like one of the top reviews on Letterboxd is, I haven't seen The Godfather, but I've seen this.
I watched this before I watched The Godfather.
I mean,
so
same.
out.
I don't think I've seen all of The Godfather, so.
I don't know if I have either.
I've seen I've seen the entire thing basically pieced together from spoofs from The Simpsons. Does that count?
Yeah. All right, so this movie, for some reason, starts by zooming in on a house that is very obviously a fake model of a house.
What?
And there's fog and shit. There's a little girl in there who's scared, and she calls for her dad to come in to tell her a story.
I legitimately forgot about this.
That was the setup.
And she's like, I'm scared. It's thundering. Or it's thundering and lightning, but their version of lightning is that someone is in the corner and just turns on a flashlight or
just
something. Yeah. And she's like, can you tell me a story to go back to sleep? And he's like, I'm always telling you stories. Why don't you tell me one for once? And then she's like, okay, but it's really scary. And he's like, I'm sure if I get scared, you'll protect me. It's stupid. And then we open up on Butte County. I had a hard time understanding her because at first I thought she said Puke County. Also very funny, and I feel would work here.
Would have been cool.
But no, it's Butte. Butte County. It's picturesque. It's pretty beautiful looking. There's just, goings on. To
just
show
like
that
a butt.
Yeah. Well,
good looking,
okay.
but a lot of goings on beneath the surface.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's a poop joke.
Yep.
I'm in my element on this episode.
Also, by the way, Butte is Montana, not Indiana. I don't know why I said Indiana.
Whatever.
I mean,
it
same
ends
place
with a A.
basically, but
There's buttes everywhere. It's fine.
I don't know if there are.
So I also don't have anyone's name, or if I wrote their name, I wrote it
Who
incorrectly.
cares?
So
Half of these people are the blandest looking white people dressed up in like police uniforms.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a really hard time keeping everyone apart, so I just wrote like cops or sheriff,
there's
and I had just assumed it was, I don't know.
There's like 5 main characters in this. They're all cops and they're all wearing the same outfit. They all just are like a generic white dude with brown hair.
Yeah.
Like
Do you think they did that on purpose? Because brown,
no,
like poop.
I think this movie was probably actually shot in Butte, Montana, and that's the only people that live there.
They're
Checks
shot
out.
in the butt.
So there's a scientist, and he's doing some stuff he's doing some experiments that he intends on selling his research to the government to make money, as all scientists do. And there's also like an announcement over the loudspeaker about some kind of like biohazard stuff, and that's not great. Then we're now at a prison where somebody has escaped using a dummy. Okay, I did kind of chuckle at this point because
This is pretty funny.
okay, first of all, his name is Jack Schmidt. And I wrote Jack once, and then for the rest of the movie, I was calling him John. So we'll see. Or Monsturd. So, whatever. And I only didn't realize his name wasn't John until, like, someone else's name was John. And I was like, wait, there's 2 Johns? No, there's not. His name is Jack Schmidt. Like Jack shit. That's pretty funny.
I'll get it.
And so they like show him like running through the woods or whatever, and the cop like at the prison like walks into his cell and is like, Jack, hey Jack, get up, Jack. And it like zooms in on this dummy that is like, first of all, terrifying looking, and also looks nothing like a person. But it takes the cop like forever to realize that it's not actually him, and that was kind of funny. But he's escaped.
I got some bad news for y'all. One of the other movies that Paul Weiner is in, he's got 4 credits. So this, Retarded, and he's also in Rectuma as third policeman. He's a cop in all 3 of these.
Oh.
That's
not great.
Paul Weiner getting typecast over here.
Amazing. He's too dumb to somehow actually be a cop. So he has to play one in Monsturd and the like.
Wow.
How do you have 4 credits and 2 of them are movies about shit?
He likes what he likes, okay? Don't poop shame
The dream.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like a bunch of the people in this movie are also in Rectuma.
I feel
it's not even the same like director. Like I don't know what's happening.
Whoever directed that probably saw this and was like, yeah, that's exactly the energy I want for my movie about, I assume, a rectum and poop, so bring him over.
That movie apparently directed by the director of Nudist Colony of the Dead.
Oh.
Or the writer of it, something like that. No, he directed it. Wow, what a... I hate it here.
Well, okay, so now we're at the FBI headquarters.
Welp.
And we find out that Jack's escaped, and we're introduced to Susan. I don't remember what her last name was, but it was probably some kind of poop thing also. Or was it Pylon? What was her last name?
I don't know. I'm trying to
Susan Turd.
Find her on.
Everybody, let just be known, everyone had some kind of poop related name or some kind of like play on words about pooping.
I'll say IMDb doesn't really have like any last names except for Jack Schmidt and then Johnny
My favorite
Waters.
Character, BM Log.
Well, Okay, whatever. So we're introduced to Susan, who is the FBI agent who originally caught Jack when he murdered people. And so they're going to send her to Butte to consult on how they should capture him, essentially. Meanwhile, back at the lab, there's some kind of alarm going on, and there's people running around because, it was alarming. And there's like a lady who's like, oh, what's that guy doing in there? He doesn't know what he's doing. So she runs into the room where like the incident is happening or whatever. And she like, I don't know, dies, but she's like screaming and stuff. And there's like brown stuff all over her face. And the doctor is just kind of like watching like, well, this is interesting. And then he takes her body and puts it into a barrel of acid to, hide the fact that she just got murdered by whatever shit's going on there.
How long do you think it took them to make this movie? To shoot the movie,
2 days.
not editing, nothing else, just to shoot it.
2 days.
2 years.
I would... No.
Get out of here.
All of the scenes with the police car were shot in 1 day. And the directors persuaded their coworkers from their jobs to play various small-town parts in this movie.
I do have to say I was a little surprised to see a helicopter. I was like, oh, like they had the budget for a helicopter.
Yeah, I assume they just for some reason know somebody that has a helicopter.
Yeah, that does like helicopter rides or something.
They just like work in a hospital and commandeered
it. Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys. Listen, I know it probably hasn't happened in a little bit, but I'm back, and guess what's happening here? We are introduced to Sheriff Duncan, who is draining the lizard.
Does he say that though?
No, but I say it. I don't think anyone's ever said it. I think I just said it every time. This is like the 4th movie in a row.
We can watch Biodome again.
Yeah, I was gonna say Biodome.
They say it Biodome.
If somebody is not peeing in Godzilla, it's gonna break the streak. And I'll hate Matthew Broderick even more.
At some point, Godzilla has to be.
I was gonna say, does Godzilla? Okay, we'll see. We'll put a pin in
what a wicked stream of piss that would be.
You could drown. It probably would just like, knock you off your feet.
He's just walking overhead, and you just get hosed. It's like that Twitter video all over again. The Rage Against the Machine cover band. It's fucking blasted.
Oh, the visuals.
So yeah, he's draining the lizard, and that's when they get the call that.
Oh, that works way better with Godzilla too.
Oh, it does. Look at that. All right, let's fingers crossed. Hold against hope. The sheriff finds out that literally, they're alerted of John's escape. His name's Jack. Jack's escape. Then we see the doctor like taking the barrel of acid that had the lady's body in it, and he's dumping it down the sewer drain. But he keeps her skull for whatever reason. Maybe
needs a paperweight.
Good point. Yeah. He also has like some kind of like assistant person that's with him that's like, I don't know, very aware that everything the doctor's doing is like stupid and wrong, but he's just like going with it anyways. But I don't think I write about him until later when something happens that at first I thought maybe was funny, but now makes no sense. But here, anyways. So now we switch to like a bunch of cops or 2 cops like searching the sewer drain, like, looking for Jack. And one of the cops goes, "There's some shit down here." And the lady's like, "We're in a sewer, brainiac." And then the cop is like, "I'm not talking about shit. I'm talking about green, steamy, shiny shit," which kind of was funny because it's the acid. They do happen upon Jack, and I'm not really sure what happened here, but essentially he ends up getting shot. I think he stabs one of them. I don't know, but he falls into like a sewage pit, and the acid like melts him away. to a skeleton wearing clothes still for some reason.
I always like it, like stuff like that happens in movies where like it is enough that it could melt all of your flesh away, but all your clothes is still there for whatever reason.
Right, like that. Yeah, exactly. Um, this part was confusing. I think what happens here is that they collect the, like the acid from the sewage thing and like hold it at like the sewage plant or whatever in like a quarantine barrel. And the doctor like breaks into the sewage plant and I don't know, like releases all of the stuff that's like contaminated back into the sewage system. Um, there's somebody just like walking around in the sewer who hears a bunch of noises and stumbles upon Monsturd. So, essentially what happens, I guess, is that Jack melts into what we find out is some kind of bacteria, and then he reforms as literally like a giant turd. But like
this movie is just they wanted to make Jack Frost, but if it was a bad movie.
Yeah. Also, towards the end, I was like, wow, it literally ended up being like Octopus 2 and like that other movie because there's like that chili cook-off where they're like, no, we're not going to cancel the chili cook-off. And I'm like, oh my God, this shit again.
We will never cancel the chili cook-off.
No, you can't.
That is our guarantee to you.
What's really infuriating is that this movie came out well after that episode of The Simpsons, and they could have at least crammed one like Simpsons joke into the chili cook-off. Like, show one person eating a candle.
One of the guys that was like serving chili had like really weird like makeup on, or it was like not makeup, it was like face paint. And I was like, what's going on with that? And he was like, this is really good chili, lady.
It was Matthew Broderick in cameo.
It probably was. It probably was actually. Okay, so at this point, Monsturd is kind of just like a black slimy log, and it's not. It's like. It's like, you know, like making noises like that. And the guy's like, ah. And it's just like close-ups of him. And it like grabs the worker. One of the police officers at this point has like a stoner puppet that he is going to use to educate children on not smoking weed, I think. But then he starts arguing with it because, you know, the puppet is calling him like a pig and like worthless and stuff like that. And then he gets like really triggered and literally starts like roughing it up and like slamming it into a wall and stuff. And it's the only time we see the puppet, and it was like kind of out of nowhere. It was really strange. But then they get a call about how the tank has been contaminated, whatever stuff has been like drained into the sewage, and one of the workers is missing. So they're going to go investigate, and they do end up finding the guy's body, and it's pretty gross. Also, there's maggots on it, even though like it just happened the night before, so that was kind of confusing. But he's like kind of goopy looking, I guess. I don't know. And this is one of the scenes where they shoot it like in the sewer, but you can't see anything, and it's just like 5 minutes of listening to people throwing up because they see the body and they're like, oh, that's so disgusting. Yeah. And then they're all just like throwing up for 5 minutes in the dark. So I was like, all right. Okay, so now we cut to a guy who is arguing with his wife about how he doesn't want to clean the downstairs bathroom, even though only him and his friends use it. And she's yelling at him, and she's like, I'm not going to go down there. I can smell the bathroom from up here. You need to go clean it. Disgusting. He goes down there, and this is like the most heinous bathroom I've ever seen. It's like fucking disgusting.
I like, as soon as the scene started, like I was just like, all right, I know this is going to be real stupid and gross.
So it's like, I think we should have put a warning at the beginning of this episode. Like, if you're eating or something, do not. Do
No.
not like it's called Monsturd, but like I wasn't actually prepared for like how fucking gross some of the scenes were.
Putting a warning at the beginning that you should only listen to this while eating. There's a chili cook-off. Eat some chili.
Yeah, especially
But
chili or chocolate
specifically-
pudding
Or poop. If you're
or
eating
lentils.
poop,
Yeah, if you're eating
now's,
poop, you're gonna
now's
love
your
this.
time to shine.
Especially, yes.
Do some poop chili.
Oh, speaking of, remind me of something to tell you guys later.
How's that a speaking of segue?
You will understand when I tell you.
Did you poop in your chili?
No. No, thankfully. So, what's happening? Oh my god. Okay, so this guy is cleaning his fucking disgusting bathroom. There's literally like poop everywhere. There's like also what looks like blood on the seat, and it's like literally heinous. And this fucking dude starts plunging the toilet, but there's like poop water splashing everywhere.
Yeah, he's getting attacked. So that was the thing, is like for a
gotta
second
get
I was
after it.
just like, is this guy just like
You
going
gotta
like
get in
too
there.
hard on this thing, or is he like? But like I think they're supposed to be insinuating that as he starts to use the plunger, he's getting like attacked.
Well, that was confusing to me because the monster like came up behind him. It's not like we never see him come out of a toilet. So that's why I'm confused about, like, obviously he came up through it, but I'm just saying, like, they obviously didn't have the budget to, like, I don't know, show a poop hand coming out and like grabbing the plunger or something. I don't know. It just looked like he was just being very furious with his plunging.
Yeah, I don't know. Who cares?
Okay, anyways, that guy dies. Thank God the scene's over. Meanwhile, I think it's Sheriff Duncan and Susan. I had a hard time telling if this like coroner person was the same person as Susan or not. I don't know. Anyways, they're like examining the body of the worker that they found like in the sewer. And the sheriff is like, do you think it's like when people get baby alligators as pets and then they don't want them and they put them into the sewer and it was an alligator? And I was like, sir? No. So he thinks it's an alligator. The guy who just got monsterded his wife calls and is basically, she calls the cops because she thinks that he just threw shit all over the bathroom and then like left as a way to spite her. And she called the cops, and the cops are like, yeah, you know what? That's a really good reason to have called us.
I mean, I would probably, yeah. I mean,
not
I
like they
wouldn't call the
cleaned it
cops,
up.
but I also feel like I would want to. I would be like, somebody.
But it's her husband. It's not like somebody broke into your house and then put shit everywhere. I would absolutely be
Man.
calling someone else for that.
That would rule. What a crime.
You gotta do that shit at like Applebee's.
Oh, the food will get
Right
you
in an
there, that's for
Applebee's,
sure.
right?
So they go in and look at the bathroom, and on the wall, written in poop, is the phrase, "Don't get caught with your pants down." And one of the cops is like, "Oh, that's John Schmidt's signature."
Jack
and I was
Schmidt.
like, "Oh, Jack." Okay, look, John works too, right? But okay, Jack. And I was like, why? Because we do see crime photos of his murders later, and it's literally just like people passed out on their bathroom floor with their pants pulled down. But I'm like, what? Maybe I don't want to know. Never mind. I don't want to know let's just move on from that.
I don't understand any of like anytime they like come across a scene where he's like written something on the wall and shit, it makes no sense other than it's like a weird poop pun.
Yeah. I don't.
There's like,
I don't
wow,
know.
one of his catchphrases, and I'm like, but they also don't give you any backstory on him. You don't like know why he was in jail. That I remember, he's just
The only
breaking
thing they
out.
say is that he was like committed like he was a serial killer, but like no details. Yeah, so I have no idea.
I have
He's a
a
poop fetishist.
I have a theory that he stabbed people with frozen poop.
Oh,
Like, you know how they'll say if you use like an icicle, it'll just melt and you'll
yeah,
have no
it'll
evidence,
melt.
but he just does it with poop because he doesn't understand the difference.
And he
You know
puts it
what?
back in his butt to
Yeah.
hide
You know
it.
what's scary
Hide the
about that?
evidence.
You know that, like, I don't know if you would call it an old wives' tale or like a urban legend where like an icicle could fall off and like murder you. And I'm pretty sure that they did it on Mythbusters, and like I think it could
Yeah, they did it
murder
on Grey's
you.
Anatomy. I mean, the person lived because they were a doctor, but
Did they really do it on Grey's Anatomy?
yeah.
They
Oh
did
my-
it in Die Hard too.
Oh my god. Okay, well, be wary. That sounds like the
Yeah,
worst.
you
freak
don't want to die like a
accident.
guy in Die Hard too.
No.
I recommend just never going outside ever. You won't have to worry
Yeah.
about it.
That's true. Yeah. Unless you're like
No excuses. Just don't ever leave your house.
No, I was gonna say unless you're like Dr. Freeze, in which case your house is like an igloo, then like, you know, you could still potentially get skewered.
You mean
But
Mr. Freeze, the Batman character?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes,
who's
that's
Dr.
what I meant.
Freeze?
my next note is about the doctor.
I mean, technically, I think
Or-
he's a doctor, so...
I think he is. Yeah, he is. Is he a doctor or a scientist? Because he was like doing all those, maybe kind of both.
Same thing.
He got his doctorate in science.
Well, he was like, I don't know. I feel like they do go hand in hand. Anyways, because like this
Dr.
scientist, I
Scientist,
think
Mr.
they were
Freeze.
calling. There you go. I like that one. Give him respect, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Where were we?
Poop.
Oh, you know what? Okay, there's a scene of like the Monsturd luring some drunk dudes like down into the sewer by pulling an empty beer can on a string, and they like chase it for some reason, but it's like very obviously like a crushed empty beer can. So I don't know why that worked, but that guy's
Frat
dead.
bros love an empty can.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Susan brings the samples of the bacteria to the doctor at his like hoity-toity mansion where he's, you know, listening to classical music. And he looks at the samples and just kind of like pretends like he doesn't know like what the bacteria is or like where it came from. And she doesn't really believe him, but she's just like, okay, fine. Then he brings a team down to the sewer to collect more samples, where they are immediately attacked by Monsturd. This is when Susan is like looking at pictures of Jack's crime scene photos, and like I said, it's just like pictures of a bathroom with like people dead on the floor with their pants down. So I don't really know what's going on with that.
Yeah, who cares?
Then the body that she has like on the table like comes back to life, and then she just like stabs it in the eye and it's dead. And I was like, what is going on with that? Because it's like never addressed before or after, so I don't know. Susan
Have we got
then,
to South Park yet?
Yeah, literally we're about to be
Oh,
there.
good.
So Susan is talking to a
That's
scientist.
where the movie ends, as far as I am concerned.
I mean, honestly. This is when Susan is talking to a scientist or a doctor who's named Johnny Waters, who says that they need to lure Jack the Monsturd into the sunlight because, like, for some reason that will hurt him. And then he calls an entomologist and asks if he can borrow 1 million flies. And the guy is like, absolutely no problem. I'm kind of busy, though. Give me a day or 2 days or whatever. So now we're to the guy who is watching a South Park ripoff, and it's literally like they redrew the characters as cartoons. Like South Park is kind of cartoonist, but this is like legit our cartoon, like The Simpsons, like a hand-drawn
Yeah, it
cartoon.
doesn't look like that, like paper mache or whatever. Not paper mache, but like
construction
Yeah.
paper. Yeah. And the theme of the episode is that Do they still call him Mr. Hanky?
No, they call him. It's
Mr. Poopy, the
It's something the
Easter
Easter,
turd or
yeah.
something like that. And it's a South Park spoof. It I don't know, it's pretty funny. But essentially the
I
guy is like,
disagree.
I mean, it's not, but like,
It's the best part
anyways,
of the movie,
okay.
but it's not funny.
Right, okay. So he's basically watching that. His daughter comes in and is like, Dad, like there's a giant duty in the bathroom and he said he's gonna eat me or something like that. And the guy's like, "Oh, don't be stupid. Turds can't talk." As he's like watching a South Park with like a turd who's talking.
I get it.
And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this." And he goes into the bathroom and we do see like a little piece of poop in the toilet and he's like, "Is this what all the fuss is about?" And he flushes the little poop and he's just like, "Yeah, I did it." And then the Monsturd comes out of his shower and gets him. And so then the cops come and they're like taking samples in the bathroom and they find a like so I'm trying not to cough. I don't have mute on these headphones, so I'm trying not to just like blow everybody away by coughing.
I would just do it anyway.
Okay.
We can
There's
cough along in solidarity.
okay. There's no cat battle going on so far, so we're good on that front.
Devastating.
That was insane. Okay, so the cops find some other writing on the wall, but it says like something different, something about, I don't remember what it said. But then like they're like in the cops are like interrogating the little girl, and also there's like a I thought he was a psychologist, but he's like drawing like a picture or whatever, and she's basically trying to explain that like it was like a giant turd that came and killed her dad, and they're like, "Are you sure? Like that doesn't just happen or whatever." And then the psychologist is like, "Did it say anything like?" And he does that, but he spits all over himself, and I was like, "Oh my god, disgusting!" And
That's a good question to ask, though.
yeah, and she's like, "Did he leave little pieces of himself behind when he was walking?" And just like these really intricate, stupid questions. And she's basically just like, "You guys are stupid. It was a big duty, like I said." And then he's like, "Did it look like this?" And he like turns the picture around and he's like drawn the Monsturd, and she like screams. It's very weird.
A better joke would have been, he was like, "Did it look like this?" And then he just shit himself.
No.
Already just making a better movie with just that alone. Like I would have knocked this
It's
up to like two stars. Yeah.
right there.
Wow. So this is when the sheriff tells Susan that they're going to have a chili cook-off, and she wants him to cancel it, of course, because if you don't know, the joke is that eating chili makes you poop a lot, and she doesn't want everyone to be like, you know, going to the bathroom where the Monsturd can come up through the pipes and kill people. And so she's like, you have to cancel it. And he's just like, "We can't cancel it. Like, our city relies on this money from
So it's
people coming."
just Jaws.
Right.
But with
Yeah.
poop chili.
Yes. So then there's like this weird scene where they like go back to his house and have a drink, and there's sensual music playing, and then he talks about how his wife is dead, of course. But then she just leaves. So again, there's just like a lot of shit that doesn't matter. Okay.
I would wager to throw out there that nothing in this movie matters.
Okay, no. But it's not like related to the poop. It's not poop centric.
Yeah, why bother? If you're gonna make a movie about a poop monster, the entire movie should be just nothing but poop.
Like essentially.
If I'm watching a movie called Monsturd, I'm signing up to see as much poop as possible.
Oh yeah, I want to be drowning in shit.
So the cops at this point are starting to drive through the town and announcing over a loudspeaker to tell people about the
This part I like.
So, okay, to tell people about the Monsturd, about how if they need to go to the bathroom, don't use their bathroom. Use a bucket like they did and throw it out
the
window like they did in olden times or whatever, or go in their pants instead of like using a toilet. And then he's like,
I'm a cop with a megaphone. You have
You
to
have
listen
to
to what I
listen to me.
say.
and then he starts talking about like aliens and a bunch of other shit that I don't know. But then he started singing a song about doing the shit your pants dance. So
Cinema.
that was something. There's some kind of like board meeting, and the sheriff and Susan are trying to like tell the board about. This is where they start calling him the shit man, which I thought was pretty funny. This is when I also realized that his name is Jack.
You know, really missed opportunity to not use the song Scatman in this.
Don't bring
I
Scatman into this. Just dragging his name through the mud.
through the
The butt mud.
Ew. I don't like that. I don't like that one.
How do you think he feels being dragged through it?
Probably not great. Oh yeah, so they tell him about Jack the Shit Man being in the sewer, and they basically just laugh at them, and they like don't believe them. So meanwhile, the doctor is putting some corn and peanuts into a bucket. And he says, irresistible corn, irresistible peanuts. And I was like, what in the fuck is happening? And he's basically just like using it as like chum for the Monsturd. And he's like throwing it around like, here, Monsturd. And to my surprise, the Monsturd can talk now.
I mean, didn't it talk earlier? I thought it did.
No, I think in the very beginning, it was just like making a bunch of like grunting noises and shit. So I guess like the more people he eats, he's like more sentient now.
Mm.
And he's also like shaped like a shit man instead of being just like a log on the floor. But he says something that I feel like we can all relate to, where the doctor is basically just like, you should be happy. I'm your creator. I created you. And he's just like, happy. I look like shit. I smell like shit. I feel like shit. And I was like, wow, this is getting real deep. The doctor tells him about the chili cook-off, and essentially is just like, hey, lots of people are going to be going to the bathroom, so you can just like pick off as many as you want. And like in return, I want to be able to study you. And he's like, sure, okay, I can do that. And the doctor says something like, they'll flock to toilets like shit on, like flies on shit or something. I don't know what saying he used. But then the Monsturd is like, oh no, I'm scared of flies because they will eat me or something. And I was like, okay, that's why they wanted the flies. I don't know. I thought that I didn't really think about that. Then back at the lab, Susan discovers that Pepto-Bismol will basically, I don't know, like, dissolve like the Monsturd residue or whatever. So the sheriff is going to go out and like buy all of the Pepto in the town. And one of them's like, oh, the residents aren't going to like this. And he's just like, they can shit their pants or something like that. I was like, all right. Oh, I did laugh, though, because when they go to the convenience store and they're like buying all the Pepto, the clerk is like, you guys must have a major diarrhea going on tonight. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? They basically go over the plan, where the plan is to go into the sewer and like lure the shit man out into the open, where they're gonna like release the flies on him. This is the part that first I thought was funny, but then like doesn't pan out. The doctor basically asks his assistant like how he feels about disguises, and the assistant's like, I've never considered them before. And so essentially like what is going to happen is that like the guy who works at the plant sorry, like calls the sheriff and is like, okay, like I understand your plan to come here, like I'll be waiting for you. And so he goes down there and like knocks the guy out, the assistant does, and then as his like way to disguise himself as the guy, he puts on like just the guy's glasses and neck brace, that the guy's wearing a neck brace for some reason, and then like his hat, and that's it. And I was like, huh, that's pretty funny. But then I don't think they show him in the like disguise again. So
No,
I was like,
I think it was literally just to be like he's sneaky kid with that disguise.
oh, okay. Well, whatever. I'm having a hard time.
It's fine.
I haven't talked this much in like a whole month. We're almost done. So meanwhile, the sheriff and Susan and the other cops are going to like put on some body protection, which consists of diapers. So they put diapers on their head and like on their body parts and stuff. And then they also fill super soakers full of Pepto-Bismol. So they're going to go into the sewer. And we also we see some scenes of like the chili cook-off, and like it's pretty gross.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's just like
they make it a point to make it as gross looking as possible.
there's also this scene where like in the background there's like a bounce house that kind of looks like Barney that is deflating, and like there's children screaming that I thought was actually pretty funny because it was just like in the background for no reason. So they're all in the sewer now. The sheriff, Susan, all the cops, and then also the doctor has like snuck into a different part of the sewer. So they go in there, the doctor goes down, and meanwhile, this is when we see the only part that actually made me chuckle for real is the entomologist is leaving his house, and he is bringing the 1 million flies, but they're just in like a regular animal crate that you would like take your cat to the vet in. So there's just holes in it. Like there's no way.
So fucking funny. It's like the best joke in the whole movie.
It is, because you can also, they like overlaid the sound of flies buzzing, and it's just like ridiculous. Not only that, he like puts he's driving a pickup truck, and he like puts the carrier in the back of the truck, which to me just was funny.
There's also like as he's like driving, they show a I don't know why, some fucking weird clip of him just like
singing along to
not even like
weird song?
not even like singing along. It's some shitty song written for the movie that he's just smiling and nodding his head as big as possible, and they show it for so long.
Yeah, I don't know. The song was like weird too, because I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just some bullshit. I'm assuming they like the composer of the movie made.
Yeah.
I hope that's not a real song.
Well, the reason it was like so standoffish to me is because the person singing it was like kind of singing in like a high-pitched voice like this, and it was like very obvious it wasn't their actual like their real singing voice, and I was like, the fuck is this? And I was trying to like pay attention. This movie did not have subtitles also, so I don't know, I couldn't understand like anything the person was saying, but it was ridiculous. Okay, so down in the sewer, the doctor is down there making fart noises to try and like find where the Monsturd is. It's like the Monsturd call. And meanwhile, his assistant gets turded.
What a fucking verb. Adjective. I don't know what that would be.
The Monsturd kind of like chokes him out with his little like log stumps, though.
Little log stumps. Jesus.
That's what they are. The cops are all down there just like running around the sewer. the Monsturd thinks that the doctor has betrayed him for some reason. I'm not really sure what happened there. But then the Monsturd just like farts all over him, and it's like spraying. I mean, it looks like chocolate milk, but it's like spraying fart juice all over it.
What the hell is happening?
This is so disgusting. The scene I felt like lasted really long. Eventually, he also turds him, and he's dead. So the cops then end up luring him, the turd Monsturd, outside. Like for some reason, their sewer system just like leads to an open cave that like opens up on the water, on like the beach or something. It was very weird. I don't even know how, but somehow they lured him outside, and the etymologist shows up on the cliff and releases the flies, and like while the flies are descending on him, the cops, who are again just wearing diapers all over their bodies, are super soaking him with Pepto-Bismol, and he's like, ah. Then we get a close-up of like the flies eating the Monsturd. And then Susan and Sheriff Duncan and the other cops just kind of like are like, yay, we're triumphant. Then we switch back to the dad and the little girl, who the little girl is the one that's been telling the story, I guess. And she's like, they're like, oh yeah, they got the Monsturd. And then the dad's like, and then what happened? And she's like, oh, Hollywood bought the rights and they made a movie for $1 million. And then the lightning flashes and she screams and hides. And then that's the end.
Fine.
Like, what?
Amazing. What an ending.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There is, however, a Monsturd song that plays that I very much enjoyed at the end. So that's the only good thing to come out of this movie.
Oh man, this one was rough. I was talking to Kid about it before we started recording, how I've been like deep in like good movies for the last month, minus like the Bigfoot versus, like just whatever we've had to do for this podcast. This movie was hard to get through.
Yeah, I think this was like talk about it. Obviously, I haven't really watched anything super recently, so I think the last thing we recorded was like the bonus episode, maybe. So it went from like super fun, goofy stuff that I like really enjoyed to hard coming back to this, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, sometimes you forget how, like, painful it can be to sit through them.
Yeah.
That's poop.
Yep.
It is.
That's how the poop crumbles.
That's the shit, man.
Sometimes it's nice and soft, and other times it's real hard.
But, you know what? Words to live by.
No one watched this movie.
Unless you like poop.
Yeah. Got a poop fetish. This movie's for you.
I feel like there's got to be better options than this for poop, if you love poop.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure.
You could just eat some poop.
Yeah. Katie?
It would be better, okay?
Maybe. Somebody get at us if you eat poop. Tell us.
I bet my poop tastes good.
You did have that poblano thing. That looked pretty good.
That thing looked bomb. I fucking love poblanos. We are growing them right now, and I'm so excited.
I had it in the air fryer, just like trying to blister it, and I was like, oh my god, I want this right now.
That sounds like such a good move. Yum.
The best thing I've done this week, easily.
Well,
maybe this whole year.
I mean, yeah.
Any news, Katie?
Not really. Like, I did actually look for news, but a lot of it's right now obviously focused around Scream and just like other bullshit I don't care about. I did see we talked about this, I don't even know how long ago, where I was talking about how Leonardo DiCaprio's like production company or whatever bought the rights to the film Devil in the White City, which is about H.H. Holmes. It's like based off of that book. And I saw an update today where it's actually not going to be a movie, it's going to be a series, but it's supposed to star Keanu Reeves. And I am assuming, like, first of all, I'm not really a fan of the book. I could not get through it. Like, I kept falling asleep. But it's written kind of in like an old English kind of way. So in my mind, Keanu Reeves is going to be playing H.H. Holmes, but like it's going to be exactly like his role from Dracula. And I know it's not actually going to be, but in my mind, that's what it is. And I want to see that. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like it would just be really enjoyable.
Is it confirmed that's who he's playing?
The article that I read said set to star. So he could be,
I'm betting he's like a police detective trying to find him or some shit. What was the movie called?
The book is called Devil in the White City. I assume the series is also going to be called that, but I'm not sure. I didn't think about him playing a detective. Either way, it's the right setting for that. Like, if they want me to play the detective, I'll come in. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen here.
Doesn't matter. Be on the lookout. The only other thing I saw that I thought was interesting, and I don't know that this is good or bad, but I saw that John Watts of Clown, Cop Car, and No Way Home fame is going to be doing a quote unquote new take on Final Destination. And I'm like, what other destinations can they have going on in this one?
Maybe there's a poop monster in it.
Could be.
Oh yeah. Everyone dies by poop.
Yeah, the final destination is Butte, Montana.
Yeah. I did see two other things. One of them is like not really news at all, but I saw that like obviously everyone knows who Freddie Prinze Jr. is, and
who?
So he's in the last
He's a
movie.
wrestler.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know him from wrestling.
No. He is a actor. He was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then like
Mass Effect 3.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer was his last like horror movie, which was like, 1,000 years ago.
He's from the podcast WW Freddy or some shit. He's got a podcast about when he used to be a writer for wrestling for WWE.
The king.
Great. Well, anyways, I can't go into.
I know him from the New Day podcast when he was a guest on that.
I can't go into tell the whole story, but I have like an inside joke about Freddie Prinze Jr. But anyways, I saw today that he was tweeting about how, or it wasn't today, but he was like tweeting about how like I've always wanted to be in another horror movie, and nothing felt right. And I was like, bro, the last one you did was I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and you really couldn't pick another one from all that time. But he said, this year feels like the right year. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'm ready. The other thing that I saw that like I'm not really sure why this is happening, but Michael Bay is producing a remake of The Raid.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
For whatever reason. And so my news is I feel like just go watch The Raid and do not watch the remake, because why?
It's just fucking like, I know I gotta bitch about it anytime there's news, because it's always just shit about remakes, but it's just fucking endless. While we were recording, there's a Gal Gadot's starring in some fucking remake of Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief.
She shouldn't be starring in anything.
I just fucking like
I agree.
Like, people gotta stop giving this shit money.
No. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know.
At least if you're gonna remake something like Monsturd. Remake something that like
oh,
is like.
I I was gonna say
Deserves a bigger
earlier,
budget.
Yeah.
I would almost like to see this movie as like an actual legit serious. Like, I would love to see what they could do doing like a completely serious
Yeah.
movie
Ari Aster.
where like
Give
the
Monsturd.
monster is a turd. Yeah,
Give-
like
Give Monsturd to Roland Emmerich.
Uwe Boll's
I
I want to
Monsturd.
see end of the world turd man.
oh, I don't know about Ube Bowl, but I would love to see because it's like I don't know.
The turd
I-
after tomorrow.
There you go.
Hear me out.
The day after turd morrow.
Yeah. Yes.
Steven Spielberg's
that one.
Monsturd,
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do it.
starring Tom Hanks, of course.
West Turd Story. The singing turd.
Dario Argento's
Wow.
Monsturd.
One flew over the turd nest. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Turdminator 2.
Yeah, James Cameron's Monsturd.
Ooh,
I'm in.
I like it. That's the
Just-
one. That's the winner,
Just
baby.
put Jack Schmidt in fucking Avatar 7.
What if they did a series that was like the Bourne series, but it was Jack Schmidt as the shit man?
Literally somebody just fucking like Photoshop Jack Schmidt as the Monsturd into like the Bourne identity.
Everything.
Just cover Matt
yeah.
Damon. Just I would watch that.
There's somebody on Twitter, and I've never looked at their name, so I don't know who they
Is it the
are. So
Paddington
sorry.
thing?
Yes, yeah. So there's somebody who like photoshops Paddington into movies every day, and so next is Monsturd.
That would be so niche. It'd be amazing.
I would love it. Let's do it.
All right. What everybody watched in the last fucking month? I guess Kit and I technically already talked about it like 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, or whatever. I don't. The time's irrelevant.
I know.
Kit,
It feels like insane to me.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Kit, what have you watched? But you were
I was just gonna say it feels insane to me that it's been like a month and I did not. I was trying to think.
Katie. Why are you melting?
Like,
Yeah.
What I'm gonna,
I'm glad that
What's
wasn't just
happening?
me this time.
You were melting.
what happened?
You were
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
you
can you
sounded-
hear me now?
yeah, you sound fine now, but I have no idea what you just said.
The Monsturd got me.
That was the sound of the poop seeping into the microphone.
Yes, that's what happened. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's probably because I tried to open Letterboxd and my phone was like, "Excuse you? I don't think so."
You're
I was
using
just-
too much internet.
Yes, yeah. Too much data. I was just gonna say that it feels insane to me that like I haven't recorded in like a month and I just like didn't really watch anything, which is sad.
Yeah, but you were also like traveling.
Yeah, it sucked.
You had a travelogue.
Oh, believe me, I had to watch Elf 3 times though. That's for sure.
Sounds terrible.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
What did you watch then?
So I watched Seabiscuit.
What the hell is happening?
I liked it, Seabiscuit. Tobey Maguire and a horse. So what else could you ask for?
A lot. A gun. The horse has a gun.
I watched
The horse is
oh my
made
God.
of poop.
Ooh.
Yeah. A poop gun.
Okay. What?
I don't know if that's a gun that shoots poop or if it's a gun made out of poop.
Either
But
way.
I think it's a gun made out of poop that shoots poop. A
That's
horse
a
could
lie.
do it. Yeah. I also watched this like skateboarding movie that was called Thrashin', and it has. Okay, I always get them mixed up. Which is the James Brolin, Josh Brolin?
Josh is the
Which
younger
one's-
one.
Okay, it was Josh, and it was terrible. However, it did have some of this. It made me reminisce about Gleaming the Cube because it had a lot of like people doing skateboard tricks when it like obviously wasn't like the people doing it or
Yeah, where
whatever.
it just like cuts to somebody doing a 360 and then cuts back and they're like safely on the ground.
Yeah, and it also has like again, like Tony Hawk is not a character, but he like does tricks in it, and Rodney Mullins, of course. So it was like that same era of movie. Definitely not as good as Gleaming the Cube of is though, which I almost got for Christmas twice. So it was a pretty good Christmas.
Yeah, now I have a copy of Gleaming the Cube.
And now Nathan has a copy of the masterpiece that is Gleaming the Cube. I also we watched the new season of Cobra Kai. What do we want? I gotta be honest with you, like between like traveling and then when I got home, I was sick for like 2 weeks, and so most of the time when I was sick, I just started Ghost Adventures Classic, which is literally just like the first couple seasons, and it's not great, but it's really good to just like fall asleep to constantly.
What
So
differentiates? Like, is it just that he doesn't have the gas mask on in the classic ones?
no, so I'm sorry, I misspoke. I watched Ghost Hunters Classic.
You may have said that. They're all Zach Baggins to me.
No, I think I said Adventures. I watched Ghost Hunters Classic, which it's not great. Like, it's really funny because I haven't watched Ghost Hunters in like since it was, I mean, it's still on TV, but since it was like originally on TV. And I remember at the time being like, this is like the best thing I've ever watched. And I don't know why I was so hooked because like almost nothing happens in any of them. But there is a episode on the St. Augustine Lighthouse, which I now live very close to and I'm going to visit. That's really good. And so I'm like excited to do that. But I mean, that's kind of all I watched, which is really sad. But hopefully, and then as I said, I had to watch Mean Girls today. So hopefully going forward, I can actually start like watching real stuff again. We'll see.
All right.
But Mean Girls isn't real?
I mean,
What about you, Kit?
Mean Girls, the best movie.
Did you
No, I
actually
haven't
watch
watched
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I would
was
like to. I
okay.
love Mean Girls.
It was pretty funny. It's still pretty funny.
Yeah, I watched Annette, which is extremely weird. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was also very weird. And Kenneth Branagh.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say which one.
Yeah, the Branagh one that desperately wants to be Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yeah.
but is just lacking the camp factor until the last 40 minutes. War for the Planet of the Apes, pretty good. And then I watched Power of the Dog finally last night, and that was really good.
Hell yeah. I watched a lot of shit. I've decided my goal for this year is 1,000 movies on Letterboxd.
Oh.
So
Wow.
I'm at like 60 something so far, I think. I watched Phantasm and Phantasm Strikes Again, or Comes Again, which are
He comes?
yeah, as well. It's Australia's first softcore porn movies that
Oh,
Vinegar Syndrome
that
put
makes
out,
sense.
and they are very strange. I watched Fulci's Zombie, rewatched that. I watched Blue Paradise, Predator of the Antilles, and Diary of a Roman Virgin, which were 3 Joe D'Amato, like, weird. Like, Blue Paradise is like a basically ripoff of Blue Lagoon.
Oh, yeah.
Predator of the Antilles is like a weird, like, I guess softcore swashbuckling movie. It's pretty bad. Don't recommend it. I watched The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock because the movie poster for it slaps. And it was pretty good. It's like a early 60s sort of Hammer horror-y type movie. And then I got that After the World Ends book from Severin that was like part of the package of like their post-apocalyptic. They released like 4 post-apocalyptic movies, and they released this book. And so I've been like working my way through some of the stuff in that. So I watched 1990, The Bronx Warriors again, and then Escape the Bronx, the sequel to it. Both fucking rule. I rewatched Hands of Steel, which slaps. 2020 Texas Gladiators, another Joe D'Amato movie. I watched Murder Rock Dancing Death, which is a Fulci movie that I never see anyone talking about, and I don't know why, because it's fucking bonkers. It's like the entire score is like 80s dance music for some reason, and it's like, I don't know, it's like a Fulci movie taking place in like the world of like dance competitions. It's fucking weird, but it rules. Highly recommend. I watched Wheels of Fire, which was like a Italian post-apocalyptic something. I think it was Italian, maybe Spanish. Then I rewatched Robo War, which is a Bruno Mattei, I think that's how his name's pronounced, movie about like a fucking robot attacking people in like Vietnam or some shit. I watched Freaked 4 times for Something People Can Hear in April. I then rewatched Enigma and the New York Ripper, which is more Fulci stuff. I watched Olivia, which is this German movie Vinegar Syndrome put out that I can't totally recommend, but it's fine. I watched Dolomite for the first time, which just fucking rules. I can't wait to dig more into like the Rudy Ray Moore stuff Vinegar Syndrome put out. But I want to watch the Eddie Murphy Dolomite like biopic thing that came out last year. Because I don't know, Dolomite was fucking really good. I watched Emmanuel and Francois, which is like a Joe D'Amato movie. I finally watched Let My Puppets Come. Holy shit. It's the most unsexy movie I have ever seen. Can't recommend it other than the fact that it is weird as shit. Tales of the Uncanny, which is like a documentary about anthologies Severed put out. It's fine. The entire thing is, all of the interviews are done on Zoom, and it's like a bunch of people Roger Corman's age, so like people don't know how Zoom works. So it's kind of hard to watch and understand some of it, but there's some interesting stuff in there. But it came with 2 anthologies that I guess were like thought to be lost. One of them called Eerie Tales from 1919. That's like a silent anthology that has like this pretty sick segment on like an adaptation of Poe's the Black Cat. So that rules. And then there was also one called Strange Tales on Letterboxd. I think it was called Unusual Tales on like the actual movie. But it was like some anthology from the 40s. It was fine. And then I started digging into the All the Haunts BRs box set Sever put out. So I watched Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched today, which is like that 3+ hour folk horror documentary, and it's pretty good. And then like right before we started to record, I started to watch Eyes of Fire, which I've seen a lot of people raving about, so I'm excited to actually like finish that. It looks pretty good. And then there's like 20 more fucking movies in that box set. Other than that, I think Caitlin and I have been watching Wipeout.
Like the game show?
Yeah, the one where people just hurt themselves on an obstacle course.
Sounds great.
Nicole Byer and John Cena host the new version of it. It came to HBO
Wow.
Max. It's pretty awesome.
What a duo.
All right. Shout outs. Katie.
Well, I don't have a shout out, but I do have a thing to talk about that I said, speaking of, while I was laying on my deathbed last week, my sister-in-law served me the Dr. Pepper baked beans.
Oh, God.
And while I will not I'm not going to say that I didn't trust Kit, but I do remember at the time saying, I don't know, that sounds kind of good. They're not good. They're terrible. They're very bad. They literally taste like, first of all, listen, I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but I do not like Dr. Pepper.
How dare.
I know.
Cutting that out of the podcast.
I know so many people who like absolutely love Dr. Pepper. I just don't like it. But the baked bean tastes like a regular baked bean that someone just poured Dr. Pepper into. It's not like they took the 12,000 or whatever spices that make up Dr. Pepper and like made baked beans out of them. It literally just tastes like a can of Dr. Pepper poured into baked beans. And speaking as somebody who is, I think, a baked bean enthusiast, I fucking love baked beans. I could eat them every day. I like couldn't finish my helping is how bad it was. It was so disgusting. On
it's a
my
real bummer
because
their barbecue sauce fucking rules, and like all of
I'm
the
sure
weird Dr. Pepper, like chocolate Dr. Pepper and the cherry one, all good.
I will say, right now Chris has the the Dr. Pepper cream soda shop or whatever, and those aren't bad.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not like a
those.
super big fan of cream soda anyways, but like I could drink it. It's fine. But yeah, no. Big no on the baked beans. Wow. I was like, why did these taste so weird?
Kit tried to warn you.
Fucking gross. I know, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I didn't believe him, but as everyone's taste buds are different,
it's a thing you got to try.
You
for
gotta
yourself,
just try
but...
it for yourself, and I hated it. So I don't know how I kept it a secret. I wanted to text you guys immediately when I tried it, and I was like, no, I will wait. So my thing that I'm not shouting out is Dr. Pepper baked beans. I don't really have anything good that's been happening right now.
Shout out not having COVID anymore.
Yeah, not to say it that way, but you know, it is what it is. Full steam ahead, so to speak.
What about you, Kit?
Mike Flanagan of Midnight Mass and Dr. Sleep fame. He has been doing his own like fanfic interpretation of the Night the Skeletons Came to Life song from I Think You Should Leave.
That rules.
What?
And so like someone had made like a little picture, and they put it as the haunting of Skeleton Town, and they have the cast of Midnight Mass, like Rahul Kohli is the narrator, and then Oliver Jackson Cohen's Robert Palin's, and Mikhail Huisman is the worm dealer, and he's just been like going for the past week. Like he wrote a script, and then there's videos of Rahul Kohli doing a script reading, and then Hamish Linklater, who is the priest in Midnight Mass, he just did a video of him doing the reading as Robert Palin's or whatever today. It has been delightful to watch unfold over the past week.
That's so strange.
So
I only
good.
know what half of that means, so I'm really confused.
He had tweeted, excited to see skeleton banker Kate Siegel pull someone's hair up, but not out.
God, this is what a great sketch.
So good.
Billy him or Billy me? Your name Billy too? No, that's why I'm so fucking confused.
I'm so fucking confused.
Fuck. I don't know. I'm gonna say Vinegar Syndrome and Severin again. Just fucking killing it.
Yeah, I will say, not like I want to give Netflix any money because you know how I feel about them. But both them and Tubi just uploaded a bunch of like horror movies from like the earlier 2000s, so like Ghost Ship and like in that vein. And I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing when I have free time. Like you know the time.
Now they do Ghost Ship. Now that we've already done the new metal episode.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And it was
Jerk-offs.
like Spawn, a bunch of the stuff that we just did that we had to like scour for is just like casually like on Tubi now, and I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, we're trendsetters.
But I think we are. So, oh, and obviously that's why I saw Godzilla. I'm just gonna keep calling it Godzilla 2000 is up now. So it's like a lot of movies from that, from like whatever. So that's exciting.
Yeah, Kit and I were talking, I think, before Katie jumped on, that so Vinegar Syndrome was gonna put out these two Paul Morrissey movies, Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, or is it Blood of Dracula? It's Blood for Dracula, right?
Blood 4.
And like they had the rights, they were going to put them out, and I guess the guy behind Severin reached out and was like, "Hey, Blood for Dracula is like my favorite movie of all time. Is there any way we could put that out instead?" And Vinegar Syndrome was just like, "Yeah, go for it," which is pretty fucking cool. And it's good to know that like these two like pretty popular like niche video companies are like bros and aren't like are our competition but not really competition.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty sweet. And they've both like all last year were just killing it, and the shit they're doing this year so far.
It makes me like both even more.
Yeah. All right, next week Godzilla 2000/98.
Godzilla 2098.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't there like a 2099 or some shit Godzilla? Or is that just in the comic
Isn't that
books?
Spider-Man?
I think it's just a comic.
Oh.
Godzilla Goes to Hell.
Yeah, that comic book rules. That's how is that not the movie been made as a movie yet?
I don't have any idea.
Even just like do an animated one. An animated one would be fine. So yeah, that's on Netflix or something. Who cares? Everybody's probably seen it. It's pretty bad from what I remember.
So, well, we'll see. I
Hank Azaria's in
dog.
it, so
Get out of here, ringworm.
If you want to support us, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. You missed our new metal movies with new metal soundtracks episode, but if you subscribe, you can still listen to it, so I guess you didn't miss it. I don't know. Just subscribe.
You're only missing it if you don't subscribe. Yeah. And I dare say, I think it was one of the funnest episodes we've done.
Yeah, that was a good one. You can buy merch at our store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating on iTunes, a review on iTunes, and leave us a rating on Spotify, where we get that sweet Joe Rogan money.
Give it to us.
We covered this movie, and he did not, so...
That's right.
Who's really smart.
I think he probably was just triggered because he is a giant shit man himself, and I think it just kind of like hits too close to home,
Yeah, the Monsturd, the Joe Rogan story.
Yeah, honestly.
You can follow us on Instagram.
Neither one has a neck.
That is true. You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kate at Hidden Kitstery. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face. Listen to my other podcast named Kate Movie Club. I hope you Monsturd but Rectuma. Something like that. I hope you Monsturd but fill in the blank. Make it interactive.